Love each other, like Mahatma Gandhi said, and fight against these corrupt people. Does that answer your question, Marcus?
I think you hit the nail right on the head. You gave the answer that I was looking for.
All right, stay there, sir. We all get answers from each other. We'll be right back with more calls from Marcus Williams. Stay with us. Coming up, I'm going to go over some financial banking news, get into a real grilling. And I don't want to go after Ron Paul, but I'm hearing from a lot of people, folks, big buzz out there. They want him to get really aggressive when he's on the House Banking Committee with Bernanke and others. He brings up how it's hurting things, how the debt bubble isn't going to work. But why? How about, hey, the Federal Reserve's private. You know, you guys engineered this thing. He'll say things like that here on the air, but he's just so gentlemanly on the news and everywhere else. He's got this platform now. They're putting him on the news more and more. I think because they know he's not being that aggressive. And I think he thinks like a Zen master. It's a catch-22 where he can get on more and just show people the alternative. And by being more palatable, that he gets more attention. But I think you've got to break through the mesmerized spell that people are under with some cold water in the face or a slap against the face. But Ron Paul's done so much good, and it's overall good. And, you know, it's easy to look at somebody in the arena and say they should do it this way or that way. I just think we should look at people like Senator Sanders and others, who's an independent, by the way, as leaders as well. You know, lots of leaders. Cynthia McKinney, very bold. That's why they went after her. But go ahead and finish up your point on that, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I think my whole thing as far as wanting to see Ron Paul be more aggressive, I look at it more as being just like a form of constructive criticism. Because Ron Paul, he had the network on the internet, he had the money, the movement. But I think that if he just would have been a little bit more aggressive as far as attacking people like Obama and Hillary, without.
No, that's right. That's right.
That he could have baited them into responding to him, and then he could have showed the world that he is the man. Because on foreign policy and on economics, Ron Paul is. He's the man. I mean, even within the black community during the polling, Ron Paul, as far as amongst blacks, was getting more support from blacks than any other Republican candidate. Well,
I agree. And let me just throw in here: people need to tell Ron Paul, hey, we want to hear you get behind the states' rights movement. We want to hear you tell your supporters to get behind that, so that we can try to reconvene the federal government and arrest these criminals. He is out there speaking out, and he does go before the Republicans and say you killed 1 million people. So that was very bold. That took a lot of courage. But I agree, it's constructive criticism. We need to have more of that because he is so prominent. We built this guy. He needs to, dance with those that brung him, and he is doing that. It's just that I totally agree with you, Marcus.
Yeah, and I think I even talked to you on your show shortly after the New Hampshire primaries where Ron Paul, I guess, wasn't receiving votes. I think it was in the town of Sutton. And I was hoping for Ron Paul to hop on and make an issue as far as the whole voting fraud thing and, hold a big major press conference, maybe like in Sutton, with people that voted for him, where the votes were being counted. And I think that by him just ignoring it and just moving on, thinking it would be a waste of time as far as not challenging the vote fraud that was happening in New Hampshire, I just think that was just another sign of that passivity. But Ron Paul, besides him, Cynthia McKinney, and Kucinich, I think that he's by far easily the best politician out there. And I just hope that in the future that maybe if he doesn't run in 2012 that he be more aggressive and get out there and hopefully pick a running mate who has just as much star power as him and hopefully try to make a difference in the future. I really appreciate you, Alex, for even giving me an opportunity just to come on your show just to discuss a few issues with you. And I know it's kind of getting close to winding down, so I just wanted to thank you, once again for just giving me a chance to promote my story and to have an opportunity just to talk politics with you, because I never thought in a million years that you would call me and ask me to do this. So that kind of just shows me a little bit, well, actually a lot that you're also a person who's reaches out to the regular everyday working person and willing to do whatever it takes to really try to get the word out.
Absolutely. Well, the Nubian Bookstore there outside Atlanta, Georgia. Marcus Williams, thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for your help with the Obama deception. God bless you and Godspeed.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
You bet. Take care, sir. We'll talk to you again in the future. All right, an amazing individual, very informative, another one of those great people out there fighting tyranny, defending liberty. We're going to come back and into Senator Sanders' true resistance to Bernanke. What we need to see more of from Ron Paul, and a lot more straight ahead. Then we're going to get into the vaccines, shipping bird flu out and putting it in the flu shot. All right, there's a bunch of these clips on the internet. These hearings went for hours. We're going to play several of them, then go to your phone calls. We have a guest coming on dealing with the bird flu that they tried to mix up with the regular flu vaccine so it could mutate and just cause incredible devastation. That's mainstream news that it could have done that. That's coming up. This is Senator Bernie Sanders questioning Ben Bernanke, and he starts asking him, where is the money? Where did you spend it? And Bernanke tries to spin it and says, it's on our website. He goes, what banks did you give it to? Well, I can't tell you that. And Bloomberg Financial is reporting on this yet again. And it's not $2.5 trillion. It's not $3 trillion like the senator's saying. It's over $9.7 trillion right now. So let's go ahead and go to that clip.
Will you tell the American people to whom you lent $2.2 trillion of their dollars? Will you tell us who got that money and what the terms are of those agreements?
We explain each of our programs. In terms of the terms, we explain the terms exactly. We explain what the collateral requirements are. We explain what
to whom did you explain that?
It's on our website.
Yeah, okay.
So all that information is available in our commercial paper program.
And who got the money?
Hundreds and hundreds of banks. Any bank or that has access to the U.S. Federal Reserve's discount.
Can you tell us who they are?
No, because the reason that is counterproductive and will destroy the value of the program is that banks will not come to the discount.
Isn't that too bad?
Sorry?
In other words, isn't that too bad? They took the money, but they don't want to be public about the fact that they received it. We heard a whole lot about AIG. They're on the front pages.
These are very...
Now, I got banks and I have businesses in the state of Vermont who are in a lot of trouble. Not banks. Our banks, by the way, are doing pretty well. Now, how do these guys who are honest business people get it? Do you have to be a large, greedy, reckless financial institution to apply for these monies?
There is no subsidy. There is no capital involved. There is no gift involved. It is a collateralized, short-term liquid loan that is both over-collateralized and is recourse to the company itself. We have never lost a penny doing it.
And how can other institutions get those loans as well?
According to the law, we are supposed to be lending to depository institutions.
Well, let me just say this, Mr. Chairman. I have a hard time understanding how you have put $2.2 trillion at risk without making those names available, those institutions public. And we're going to introduce legislation today, by the way, to demand that you do that. It is unacceptable to me that that goes on. Mr. Chairman, one of the issues that bothers me very much is that for many, many years, some of us were concerned about deregulation. Some of us were very concerned about where the economy was going. We didn't hear much coming from the Bush administration, who told us over and over again that the fundamentals of the economy were sound. We didn't hear much from the Fed. Now, looking back, do you think that maybe there was a problem there, that you did not raise some alarms out there and said, we got a problem when trillions of dollars are being floated around the world in a deregulated, non-transparent way? When you heard people talking about the fundamentals of the economy being sound, how come you didn't raise an alarm?
Well, there was a massive credit crisis, and it's been true that our regulatory system and our financial supervisory system did not succeed in preventing those impacts. And I think it's very important that
we not succeed in preventing them. Let's take it another way. Do you think that the repeal of Glass-Steagall was a tragic mistake?
No, I don't think so. But I do think we need to have much more effective holding company and oversight supervision, and I strongly support a strong program of regulatory reform going forward.
Mr. Chairman, in my state, people ask me how it could be that you're providing loans at almost zero interest rates to large financial institutions who are then charging consumers 25 or 30% interest rates on their credit cards. Do you think that that's acceptable, or do you think that those institutions that are receiving help from the Fed should substantially cut those interest rates?
Well, with respect to credit cards, we've been working actively in that area in a couple of dimensions. One is that credit card credit availability will be enhanced by our TALF program, which I've just announced.
But you're not answering my question. Should a financial institution that is being bailed out by taxpayers charge those taxpayers 25 or 30% interest rates when they're receiving.
Well, you need to address that to the Treasury because it's the TARP that's providing help to failing or damaged firms. The Federal Reserve lends to healthy firms on a collateralized basis.
Last question. Many, again, of my constituents, and I think people all over this country, are wondering why the CEOs of these large financial institutions who have been extremely greedy, reckless, and maybe have engaged in illegal behavior have not been fired so that we can work with people who want to really reform the system. Should the CEOs of the financial institutions that have led us into this deep, deep recession be fired?
Well, pay and job tenure should depend on performance, and those which have performed poorly should lose their jobs.
Any of them who have been...
Many have lost their jobs.
Most of them, the major guys, are still holding their positions.
Senator Alexander. Absolutely amazing. Let's just go through that 5-minute clip and the lies that were there.